So Member of Parliament Fadiel Adams came to the Madlanga Commission yesterday and pretty much said the dog ate his homework. Madlanga did not take kindly to it. In this video, I'm going to show you what's going on there. But if you stay with me all the way till my biblical reaction, I'm going to give you a timeline of what's happening around this Member of Parliament. And it's said to be the most fascinating testimony still to come. And I have to remind you that South Africa will prosper. You ready? Okay, press like, let's go. So let's start by hearing what he was saying just outside the Madlanga Commission.
I'm reading Madlanga's statement and I'm saying that I was subpoenaed. It's a lie, I was never subpoenaed. I emailed the commission and I said, you know what, my name's been kicked around like a football for 3 months. I demand my opportunity to speak. They came back to me and they gave me a date of the 11th. I think that was on the 3rd. I said to them, voter registration is the 4th, the 5th, the 6th. Those are the 3 busiest days of the year for me. Can you give me another date? I'm proposing the 30th. They said, no, it's the 11th or nothing. They, in essence, gave me 4 days to complete my submission. But now remember, as I'm trying to complete my submission, people are still mentioning my name left, right, and center on TV. So it becomes a little bit odd. So we submitted yesterday at 6 o'clock.
Okay, so he was given 4 days to respond. Well, he goes into the testimony, and this is what we hear.
The statement was sought from him when?
Well, the first Rule 3.
So the Rule 3 is the subpoena, which he says he was never subpoenaed.
Well, the first Rule 3 went out to him on the 3rd of October last year, and then a response was sought by 25 October last year. There is a long and lengthy correspondence running through from October last year, and then it starts to accelerate through April, May, June, July.
Which was about what?
Which was about getting the statement and getting a response to the Rule 3. Where that correspondence finally ended was that our last offer was an agreement that the statement could be filed by Thursday last week, which we thought was, we could accommodate Thursday because we could then print on Friday, give the commissioners copies to read over the weekend. And eventually the affidavit came in late last night.
Well, let us hear from Mr. Adams. Is it correct, Mr. Adams, that you received a Rule 3 notice which required of you to file a statement in October of 2025?
Parliament can confirm that I have a very problematic laptop, and my laptop was either in for repairs or frozen, and when I became aware of the emails, it was, I really don't want to lie,
you would not have to lie, so you don't even need to.
No, Commissioner, at any rate, I was aware of the Rule 3 a few months ago, but
what's a few months ago?
I think 3 months ago, 4 months ago, when I became aware of it. I had not noticed it in October.
Surely this is something very important. You cannot be as unspecific as you are. When did you first become aware of the Rule 3 notice?
If you're going to ask me for a date right here, Justice, I really wouldn't be able to give you one, but it was a few months ago. But I'm under the impression that I will be getting more questions because people are mentioning me every day, so I was waiting for that. And Honourable Shackleton is 100% right in his assessment. But eventually, I saw that I wasn't going to get a subpoena, and that is why I emailed the commission.
Is the laptop you are talking about the same laptop you are using for your parliamentary business?
It is.
So are you telling us that you are able to function in Parliament with a laptop that's giving you the problems that you are telling us now?
I am struggling with it.
And how are you able to function at Parliament?
Well, half the times I don't. Half the times I have to walk to people for information or call up for information.
Don't you have IT people who can sort out your laptop?
They do sort it out for me regularly. It works for a few days and then it just kicks in again.
I find that very hard to believe, Mr. Adams.
It can be confirmed by Parliament.
I find that very hard to believe.
I would too.
That from October last year, it's only about 3 months back that you became aware that you got a Rule 3 notice from this commission. I find that very hard to believe. Are you telling us the truth?
100% Justice.
And is this the case also with everything else you received from Parliament? From
Yes.
October last year until about 3 months ago, you did not receive anything from Parliament.
Justice Madlanga, I never said that. I'm saying that the laptop freezes on a daily basis, and therefore if I may, therefore, whenever I take it, when I take it out my bag, I normally have to go to IT. It will work for a day or two, and it will start again. So
You say you never said what I just suggested to you now. If you did not get the Commission's Rule 3 notice from October until only about 3 months ago, that should be true of communications from Parliament as well. It's
Yes.
on that basis that I've just said what I said to you now.
Yes, Justice, that is what I'm agreeing with you.
So from October, I thought you were saying that's not what you said.
No, sorry. It's not even from October, Justice. It's been for about 18 months that
No,
I'm struggling with this device.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about anything else. I'm concerned about October to today. For you to only give to the Commission communication, or rather your statement, which was required from October of last year, for you to only give that statement to the Commission after 9 p.m. last night. And the only excuse you have is that you have difficulties with your laptop. All right. I don't believe that. I find it hard to believe that because otherwise you should not be operational at all as a parliamentarian. Okay, let's move on. Now, about 3 months back, you became aware that a statement was required of you. So according to what you say, which is hard to believe, you have had 3 months and we only get your statement after 9 p.m. last night. What excuse do you have for that?
There is no excuse, Justice, because when I emailed the Commission about 2 weeks ago, I asked for a date. I was given the date of the 11th. I emailed back. I said to them that it is voter registration, 6th, 7th, 8th. I essentially have 5 days to complete this thing. Can I have a slightly later date? The Commission...
Why would you have asked for a date? You would have seen from the communication which you got 3 months back that the statement was required from October last year already. Why would you have asked for a date? 3 months back, you become aware that, oh, for such a long time, a statement was required from me. You still ask for a date instead of saying, wow, I'm very late already, and quickly putting your statement together. Why only a week or couple of weeks back do you ask for a date only then?
The Commission asked me 3 questions, Judge, and I felt that I could offer much more than 3 questions, which is why I asked for a date. When the date was proposed on the 11th, I emailed back. I said, can I have just a little bit more time? And I was told, no, the 11th is the only available date. I moved heaven and earth. I sat up nights to conclude this thing. And I'm not saying that I'm doing that what I did was right. But what I'm saying is I tried my level best to meet the deadline of Thursday. I couldn't.
What I will say, and I will stop here, what I will say is it seems to me that you are not taking this commission seriously. And starting from now and going forward, you should not treat this commission the way you have thus far. Because every and anything you've said thus far is just totally unbelievable. I do not believe it. This should mean that you cannot function at Parliament as a parliamentarian. And it also suggests that you are not even taking the people that you are supposed to serve seriously. If for as long as you suggest is the case, you have been using a laptop that you basically cannot use. You are not taking us as a commission seriously, and I would dare say you are not even taking the people that you are supposed to serve seriously. Starting from now going forward, you must take this commission seriously, Mr. Adams.
Wow. And Parliament didn't take kindly to being placed in such a bad light either, so they came out with a statement of their own.
Parliament has noted remarks made by the National Coloured Congress Member of Parliament, Mr. Adams, during his appearance before the Madlanga Commission this morning. regarding the problems he says he experienced with his parliament-issued laptop. Mr. Adams told the commission that the laptop had been problematic for about 18 months, was frequently frozen or in for repairs, and that this affected his ability to access correspondence and other information. Following these remarks, Parliament checked its ICT service desk records for technical support provided to Mr. Adams during the period concerned. The records do not show a persistent problem with his laptop, repeated hardware failures or freezing, or the device being repeatedly booked in for repairs. The ICT matters logged for Mr. Adams were largely routine access and account-related requests. These are routine ICT support matters and are different from laptop being dysfunctional or unavailable over a prolonged period. Parliament therefore has no ICT service desk record that support the claim that Mr. Adams' parliamentary laptop was persistently dysfunctional for approximately 18 months as described before the Commission. It should also be noted that members are not dependent on a single device to perform their work. Parliament provides members with a laptop, tablet and smartphone to support access to parliamentary systems and information. Where one device developed the technical problems, ICT support is available, and other parliament-issued devices provide alternative means of access while the problem is being attended to. Parliament will ordinarily not respond to explanations given by a member before a commission of inquiry. However, where such explanations may create the impression that Parliament failed for an extended period to provide a member with a functional tool of trade, it is necessary to place the institutional record on the table.
Wow. So let's go back to the ad hoc committee statement of Mr. Fadiel Adams. On a date I cannot recall, but it was definitely in the last week of October, I entered my office and found on the floor an envelope I assumed was slipped under my door. Inside the envelope were documents that appeared to be evidence of criminal activity happening at crime intelligence offices. I did not hand over any evidence at the time, as I did not want to risk a document that may be classified to be seen by just anyone. I was intending to give the documents to the assigned investigative officer. Because I was fearful of my documents going missing, I emailed suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu complaining about the SAPs, and I went to IDAC, and then IDAC opened that case. And if you see this video here, you'll realize how problematic that was. Okay, so let's look at Honorable Fadiel Adams' timeline. Late October, he says he receives crime intelligence information under his door. Okay, we'll come back to the timeline just now. Here's the first issue we're watching for when he testifies at the Madlanga Commission. Remember, he says it was slipped under his door and he was aware that it was classified information. Now, we have the Protection of Information Act of 1982. If we go to Section 4, it says any person who has in his possession or under his control or at his disposal any secret information which he knows or reasonably should know, which has been made, obtained, or received in contravention of this act, and who discloses such secret information, shall be guilty of an offense and liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 10,000 or 10 years in prison, or both. And any person who receives any secret information and having reasonable grounds to believe at the time when he receives it that such information is being disclosed in contravention of this act, he shall be guilty of an offense of 10,000 or 10 years, or both. So I'm sure that at the testimony, he will have to make sure that he doesn't fall on the wrong side of the Protection of Information Act. So, testimony still coming. Now, a year ago, Member of Parliament Fadiel Adams actually went on BizNews with Chris Steyn Listen to what he said then.
If I am required to walk to the National Commissioner's office in Pretoria to go and lay a charge, it is what I will do. Because we take these allegations very seriously. Remember, these allegations don't fall from the air. These are folders given to us by policemen who are concerned with the state of the organization that they love. These are men that bleed blue, that are saying, these guys are killing us.
These are not just allegations out of thin air. These are folders given to us by concerned police officials. Now, I'm not sure if we're still speaking about what was slipped under his door, or we're talking about different kind of folders from police officers who gave them to him. So, if we go to Protection of Information Act, if that classified information was given to him by these concerned police officers, I think that may land him on the wrong side of 10,000 rands or 10 years. But if he's talking about different folders here, but that's why we have the Madlanga Commission. I'm sure we'll find out as he gets asked. Okay, let's run through the timeline quickly. Late October, Adams says something slips under his door and it's classified information. 30th of October, he opens a case against crime intelligence officials. On the 31st of October, he opens duplicate dockets in Orlando and Langlaagte police stations. On the 1st of November, he writes to the police minister, Senzo Mchunu, at the time. On the 2nd of November, he goes and visits Bonkosi Dlamini at Westville Prison. On the 11th of November, Minister Senzo Mchunu writes a letter to IDAC and says, jump on these allegations from Fadiel Adams. On the 21st of November, IDAC, as we heard at Madlanga Commission, solicits a Section 27 affidavit from him. On the 31st of December, suspended police minister writes that famous letter and says cancel the PKTT and freeze all hiring at crime intelligence. On the 24th of January 2025, Mr. Adams goes to Westville Prison again, but this time visits Sbosiso Ngengwa. Now, both of these people that he visited at Westville Prison were in trouble from cases that came from the Political Killings Task Team. I'm not connecting any dots here. I'm just giving you the timeline. So now, on the 8th of May this year, the National Prosecuting Authority released this statement. Mr. Adams in court on 3 counts of fraud and 2 counts of defeating the administration of justice. The state is alleging that on 2 November 2024 and 24 January 2025, he visited Westville Prison, conducting 2 separate interviews with 2 awaiting trial inmates. These inmates were in custody for 2 separate matters, one being the Sindiso Makaka murder, and the other was in custody for a partly heard matter. The state is alleging that the accused recorded the interviews. In doing so, the accused allegedly misrepresented to the various authorities, including the SAPS and the officials at the prison, that he was on official duty. Given this impression, authorities then arranged an official escort for him from King Shaka International Airport to the Westville Correctional Services and back. Adams also allegedly engaged with the inmates without authorization from the investigating team nor the legal representatives of the inmates. Further, the state alleges that he was not officially mandated by Parliament to conduct these visits. Now, Ian Cameron, the chair of the Police Portfolio Committee, says Adams has a case to answer. He says MPs are allowed to exercise oversight on all organs of state, but prior authorization is required if they're representing the committee. He added that he was told that Adams had claimed he was there on behalf of the parliamentary committee. No decision was taken by the parliamentary committee authorizing Honorable Adams to conduct an oversight visit or parliamentary engagement at the Westville Correctional Center on behalf of the Portfolio Committee, nor was any such request made to me as the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee. Now, on the same interview I played earlier, hear what he said about his visits to the Westville Correctional Services.
There's 300 parties on the ballot. We are brand new. I have to ask, what are the rest of you all doing?
Now, earlier this morning, you sent me a video of an interview you conducted with a former task team member who has been on remand in prison for almost 5 years. Tell us what that is all about, Mr. Adams.
The sad thing is that he's not the only one. But I will not mention his name for his safety. But I went to Westville because I was directed to this gentleman by another policeman who cares about the state of SAPS. And I went to Westville Prison in my capacity as a member of parliament, and I asked to see a specific prisoner, and I wanted to see him alone. I was put in touch with this man, and I spoke to him, and I left Westville Prison, he was tears running down my face. He was arrested for defeating the ends of justice. Now, let me explain something to you. I wasn't always a good boy. I've been to court maybe 50 times in my life.
Wait. Say that again? Slowly.
Let me explain something to you. I wasn't always a good boy. I've been to court maybe 50 times in my life.
Sorry, I hadn't heard you correctly. Please continue.
Now, let me explain something to you. I wasn't always a good boy. I've been to court maybe 50 times in my life. No case runs for longer than 12 or 13 months without the state bringing evidence before the judge kicks it out. No man lies on remand awaiting trial 4.5 years for a non-violent crime. I believe that this poor officer is a political pawn. And I believe that certain people that work for the justice system are part of this mafia. If you listen to this officer and if you listen to the testimonies of the people that speak of him, they're saying that this man did nothing wrong. This man simply refused to obey an illegitimate instruction. Next thing you know, he's in jail for 4.5 years. Do you know what happens to a policeman in jail? They know what happens to a policeman in jail. What they may or have allegedly done to this poor officer. It's a crime. And we will pursue this through the courts, through the JSC, through every means available. But that officer will receive justice.
What happened after that interview is that the first person he met got 25 years imprisonment. On the 6th of June, Ngwa made a Section 220 admissions to the court, admitting to shooting Makaka. He also admitted to the attempted murder of these three and the malicious injury to property in respect of the car belonging to Makaka and others. Ngwa was sentenced as follows: 25 years for conspiracy to commit murder, 25 years for murder, 5 years for each of the 3 counts of attempted murder, 3 years for each of the 3 counts of malicious injury to property, 5 years for unlawful possession of a prohibited firearm, 5 years for unlawful possession of firearm, and 1 year unlawful possession of ammunition. The court ordered that the sentences run concurrently, resulting in the effective sentence of 25 years imprisonment. Not only did he end up going to jail, the person that Adams visited, the legal representative had previously represented a co-accused in this matter, namely Sibusiso Ngwa, who made a Section 220 admissions in this matter in July. He was subsequently sentenced to 25 years imprisonment and will now testify as state witness. So the person that he visited and he was telling us he's being treated unfairly was given 25 years and has turned state witness against the other people involved in the same matter. The second person he visited in prison was found guilty and given 17 years behind bars. So the charges stemmed from their interference with state witnesses in a 2018 murder case. Between August and October 2019, the officers accepted a bribe to weaken evidence in the murder case of Philani, an ANC branch leader assassinated in Gwandengezi. The goal was to ensure the acquittal of the killer and mastermind. The bribe money, 120,000, was withdrawn by Sibongile Ndlovu to shield her husband, fellow kwakhe Induna Ndlovu, from being jailed for Khumalo's murder. The exchange took place at the Durban Central Police Station. The scheme unraveled after the Political Killings Task Team arrested Dlamini. Subsequent arrests included Sibongile, her husband, fellow kwakhe, Lieutenant Colonel Ndlovu, fellow kwakhe's brother, and the couple's son, who had hidden the murder weapon. So these were the people that Adams had initially visited, now been found guilty and are serving time. Late October, Adams says classified information is slipped under his office door. 30 October 2024, he opens a case against the head of the PKTT, Lieutenant General Khumalo, and the people they work with, and goes to that interview, and we now know that he says the lady was a clerk, which we now know is a cyber security expert and an actual engineer. 31st of October, he now comes up to Gauteng, opens a case at Orlando and Langlaagte. 1st of November, writes to Senzo Mchunu. 2nd of November, visits Bonkosi Dlamini at Westville Prison. 11th of November, Mchunu puts pressure on IDAC. 21st of November, IDAC makes sure that they get that weak affidavit from Mr. Adams and they run with it as if it's a strong affidavit. 31st of September, Police Minister cancels the PKTT and says stop hiring at Crime Intelligence. 24th of January, Mr. Adams reportedly visits the second person who's now been sentenced. 6th of September, IDAC moves quickly to do a Section 28. 26th of June, Lieutenant General Khumalo and a whole bunch of other people are instantly arrested. And we know from this video that after Andrea Johnson was at the Madlanga Commission and really her testimony completely collapsed, the charges against the individuals at Crime Intelligence have been provisionally withdrawn. My biblical reaction: he who answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame to him. I am not making any statements besides just giving you a timeline right now, because Mr. Fadiel Adams comes back on the 19th of August and his testimony is sure gonna be interesting in light of everything you've seen at this video. So you tell me at the bottom, how do you think it's gonna go? And for now, I just want to thank all our prosperity pledges. That pat on the back you give us really means a lot. It touches our hearts. So if you follow us and you'd like to be a prosperity pledger and just encourage us to say keep going, please go down to the bottom. You'll find the link, or let me put it up here as well. You'll find the link. We'll appreciate you being behind us, keeping our hands up. And we keep doing this. We keep doing what we do because we believe that South Africa is a prosperous country. We just watching it unfold. So no man can serve two masters. Either you love the one or hate the other, or you'll despise the one and honor the other. You can't serve God and Karl Marx. So let's make history together. It will be so interesting watching Madlanga on the 19th.